Hello everyone, today I'm going to talk about economic basics. And my good friend Johan here
What's up?
will talk about personal finance. I mean, I try and fit economic jokes in here, but there's not enough demand. Well, anyway, economic basics is basically a lot of things. Get it? Basic. Some examples are scarcity forces trade-off and supply and demand. And those will be the main ones in economic basics that we talk about today. But there is others such as cost and efficiency, etc., whatever, whichever you want to put there and stuff, That's just how it works. The scarcity forces trade-off is unlimited desires but limited resources. A good example of this is Black Friday. On Black Friday, tons of people want the same thing, such as a TV or an Xbox, but the store only has so many, so not everyone that wants one is going to get one. And supply and demand is the matter of changing the price to be higher or lower depending on if people want it or not. An example of this is gold. Gold is decently rare, therefore the price of gold can be raised because there is a high demand but a limited supply. Since we now have more time, we can go over cost and efficiency. Cost and efficiency is the ratio of cost to output, and that is all for my portion of the video. Now to my friend Johan.
Thank you, Teddy. So the second thing that I'm going to be covering is personal financing. Many people think that personal financing is just you working to earn money or having your own company or selling things. And you wouldn't be wrong. That's something that we usually hear every day when it comes to personal financing. But there's one form of personal financing that we usually overlook, and that's budgeting. Budgeting is the act of putting a limit on how much you spend. This helps by making a goal of how much you can afford to spend for a week, or in some cases a month, so you don't overspend, which can help you stay or get out of debt. And if things go well, you may have leftover money to spend to save for a rainy day. Okay, so that was easy. Guess it's the end of the crash course of vid. Oh, you want some tips on budgeting? Okay. Guess I can pull something out my bag of junk. Let's see. Here it is. 4 tips of budgeting. Alright, let's do this. So the first tip I'm going to be talking about is the 50-30-20 rule. It's basically where 50% of your finances go to, your needs, such as your bills and your house notes and whatnot. The second form of budgeting is the 1/3 rule. It's basically where 1/3 of your finances go to your needs, wants, and, savings and whatnot. There's one more called reverse budgeting. This is where you technically pay yourself, so to say, by putting your money first into insurance or savings and whatnot, so then you don't, use unnecessary money. Let's go to the thought bubble.
Yes, thank you for passing it on to the good old thought bubble. So the final one that I want to talk about right now is that little device that you're probably holding in your hand right now. That's right, I'm also talking about you, Johan. The nerve you have not paying attention to your own video. But as we all know, there are those people who like to spend money on the newest device that Apple releases, and the average cost for a phone nowadays is around $800. That may not look like a lot, but remember, Apple makes new phones just about every year, if not twice a year. Going off the once-a-year calculations, we're looking at about $800 spent, and that's not counting the phone that you buy for your kids that breaks in only a matter of months. But if we look at them from releasing an iPhone twice a year, that is $1,600, which also may not seem like a huge waste of money, but that is money that you could have used to invest into something useful, to earn more money, or just save it for a day when your phone that you had earlier this year that you got does break and you do need a new one. Remember this, take a piece of advice from a voice in the cloud. Don't spend unnecessary cash, because it could end up in the trash.
Thanks, Thought Bubble. So to wrap things up, we learned about economics basics and personal financing. We learned that scarcity forces trade-off is based off of things we want but can't always have them since there are limited resources. We also learned about supply and demand, which the companies use to sell you things and make sure they earn as much money as possible by raising the prices or lowering the prices. Money hogs. Then we learned about personal financing and budgeting tips also to stay out of debt, and how being careful with what you have so they last longer so you can save more money instead of always paying more to replace it when it breaks prematurely. Finally, I want to thank all you actually paid attention to our video. It was really fun to make it, and way more fun to edit since I did most of it. So before I go, be sure to join my merch, subscribe to my Discord, and buy my YouTube channel. Peace. Also wear your seatbelt.